You're listening to Her Confidence, Her Way podcast, episode 56. Are you feeling not confident? Are you telling yourself, no, you're not good enough? You know you can do more. And you know you're better than who you are right now. Ladies, it's not time for you to give up on who you are. Welcome to Her Confidence, Her Way podcast. I am Emiko Rasmussen, a confidence building coach and host of this podcast. Each week, I will bring you guests or lessons that will help you to break through your limiting beliefs, fears, and barriers so that you can start building your own confidence and do what you really want to do without worrying about someone else's opinion. We all have a gifted talent that no one can copy, and we're here to let our talent shine. So don't limit yourself. Are you ready to begin your confidence breakthrough journey and discover your true self? Let's go. Today's episode is brought to you by Audible.com. I love learning and I love reading about self-help, female leadership, and any professional development books. But I'm a mom of two, and I'm also a full-time working mom, and I got no time to sit down and enjoy some tea and read in a quiet room. Lucky me, I found Audible, and I'm loving it, and I have been a user for over a year now, and I just cannot live without it now. You can listen to your favorite book during your commute, while you're cooking, cleaning, or folding your laundry at home, or even while you're working out. For you, yes you, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to get you the opportunity to check out their service. Get a free Audible download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/therealglobalvoice, or you can go to my website and click on the Audible 30 days trial. I love free stuff, and you should definitely try it. Hey ladies, welcome back to the another episode of Her Confidence, Her Way podcast. I am your host, Emiko Rasmussen. I would like to say thank you so much for all the listeners who are taking the time to listen to this episode. Guess what, ladies? It's February. Happy February! It is actually one of my favorite months. Can you guys guess? Yep. So previously, I have told you that I was kind of behind on releasing the podcast because I was preparing for my daughter's birthday party. So yes, it is my daughter's birthday month, so I love it. And also, it is a Valentine's month. So the February 14th is coming up. It's next week. What are you guys doing? I quickly learned when I came to US that people here celebrate completely different than Japan. And I love sharing the love, and I really like the way how, especially my kids are doing at their school. They call it as a friendship day, and they share cards and the sweets, and it's just very cute. So yes, I am super excited for them because they can't wait to share this like little Valentine's card. And so here's the thing. We should always show the love, especially like for those who are married or who have boyfriend, fiance, whatever that is. And before, I used to think that like, why do we have to make it a big deal about it on this special day? But I think it's important to remind your loved one how much I love them, right? So I hope you're gonna do something to make it a special day for them. Speaking of love, it is also a great time to give love to yourself as well. At my current work, I am going to host a session for women to help and promote their career life. And we are going to have a table discussion, and the theme for our discussion is love. So it's self-love, self-promoting, self-care, and sharing the love with the other woman. So I will definitely report back on that. Today's episode is going to be a solo show, so it's just going to be me and you. We haven't done this for a long time, so I'm super excited. And as I mentioned earlier, this February is the month of love, so I am going to focus on self-love. We tend to be really hard on ourselves, right? Have you caught yourself being just very hard on yourself or criticizing yourself? It is just called self-sabotaging. We, especially Japanese women, are especially raised to be modest, reserved, or even being compared by others, or we have to meet the social expectation, and it is almost like we are not allowed to recognize our own greatness. I always think whenever I want to make a bold move or I want to do something, I always have to fight with these comments in my head. I would ask myself, like, who am I to do this? Or there's no way I can do this. Why am I? Or when I make, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but when I get the result that I didn't expect, and I would just tell myself, like, why am I so stupid? I am sure you have told yourself one of these words, not only once, but so many times. But let me ask you this. Do you say these things to your girlfriend? I know you won't. It is important for you to recognize that many of us, especially working women, are the ones who is stopping ourselves to our potential and our success. And we're the one who is really hurting ourselves. So self-sabotaging, for those who don't know this term, this means 自分を傷つけること. So not only maybe you're hurt from others' comment or by someone, you are also hurting yourself as well. And that is really limiting yourself, your potential, and you are pretty much just not very confident. And so this is just a bad cycle. I am about to share 5 ways that we might be self-sabotaging ourselves and how to stop this. The very first thing that you need to do is to really recognize the behaviors, so self-sabotaging behavior. So I will give you 5 behaviors that you might be doing, and then I will give you the practical advice on how you can stop that, okay? Are you guys ready? Yes, you're ready. All right. The first one, number 1. Telling yourself you cannot, or pretty much it's 私なんかじゃ無理, right? The word that I always have to fight with. You are already telling yourself that you can't without even giving yourself a permission or chance. And this is one of the way how you are really sabotaging yourself. So first, like I said, I want you to recognize the word that is coming up or the limit that you are putting on yourself. Then, here are the steps. You want to ask yourself, why not? So let's say, okay, well, let me just go through. So, and then after that, write down your reasons why you believe you can't do it. After that, write down things you can do to eliminate your reasons why you can't do it. For example, let's say, this is definitely, I was self-sabotaging myself. Let's say I wanted to become a personal branding facilitator at work. And those who are listening to this podcast, you know I accomplished this. So let's say, there's no way that I can become a facilitator. When that negative conversation happened in your mind, then what you need to do is you have to ask yourself, why not? Okay, well, because I don't think my English is good enough. I don't think I have that experience. Okay, from there, You know the reasons why you might be thinking that you can't. If there is no reasons that you can't come up with, then it's really a sign you should go for it. I think we are just so trained to just think you can't, or I can't. So it's really common, especially for women. Then from there, I can just say, okay, well, is my English really not good enough? Is this something that I can practice? Is this something that I can be better? And also, is there a training that is offered? Is there a limitation or restrictions that I have to have certain experience so I can do all the researches and I can prepare for this. So I want you to do the same. Whenever you hear the word you can't, then ask yourself, well, why not? Number 2, downplaying yourself. So this means you're adding only or just in your sentence. So I am just an administrative assistant, or I only have 5 years of experience. When you are especially explain yourself to others, you're pretty much using those words. And some cultures, downplaying yourself is expected. Like, for example, Japan is no exception. It is seen as a virtue. And I get that it's very hard. This is kind of like self-promoting. I had a really, really hard time adjusting this cultural value. But for people who are currently working in US or Western culture, or you're working with someone who are from different countries, it is important that you speak up and really showcase yourself. How to do this, or how do you stop yourself sabotaging? This one is very simple. You have to catch yourself first, though. You need to really realize, because you are saying these things without you even thinking. So be aware of how you are telling yourself to others. We don't have to be the smartest or the most successful person in the world to be this great person. You are valuable. And what you need to do is to just drop the word just or only. Okay? Moving on to number 3. Displaying yourself in negative or uncertain ways. Or it could be apologizing too much. I notice this a lot. I see this, especially at workplace and the meeting. Have you caught yourself saying these things in the meeting? Excuse me, this may be a stupid question, but... Or, I'm not sure, but have you considered in making suggestion? Or here's the apologize part. I'm sorry, but can I share my opinion? Seriously? These are... And I like to observe people. And ever since I have read the book Lean In, which you can also download or get a free book. If you can go to my website, you can test it or try for 30 days for free. So you can definitely listen to this book in an audiobook version. Anyway, so going back, Lean In, and I started to really be aware of myself and other women. And this happens all the time. We don't even realize. So in order for us to really help each other, you may want to tell your coworker, hey, I noticed that you are saying this might be, or you're kind of using those words before you're making suggestion, and tell them, just simply remove the first sentence, and you do the same thing. You don't have to say, this might be a stupid question. Just ask questions. You don't have to be unsure about it. Just make a suggestion. You don't have to be sorry about sharing your opinion. Your opinion matters. Your voice is important. So just say it. Number 4, self-limiting yourself. Have you ever told yourself, oh, I'm not ready to do this, or I'm not experienced enough to do this? It's pretty much you're kind of like giving almost an excuse as well to find this like perfect timing, but there isn't a perfect timing. And here is, I'm just going to share this very famous quote from Zig Ziglar. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. This is so good, right? One more time. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Women discount herself and they don't even apply for the next opportunity unless they believe that they are met 100% for the job qualification. But men apply when they meet only 60%, and this is actually the fact coming from the book Lean In. This shows already, you guys know this, but when men and women, the job salary gap is big, and these are one of the reasons why. So women, we think that, okay, well, I'm not experienced because I don't have all these skills, so I'm not qualified to do this. No, but I want you to think about it. Your skills can be transferable. So even if you have never done the specific things, the skills that was listed, I want you to think about a similar experience, similar skills that you have done. Then you can stretch yourself. And if you have never done those skills, can you just volunteer to do it at work? And also, I love volunteering, and volunteer is a great opportunity. You're not getting paid, but you're gaining experience, right? So if you want to, let's say, switch an industry completely for career transition, for example, you could start working with an organization to do the role that you have never done, because the experience and the skills doesn't have to come from the professional experience environment. It can come from anywhere. So yes, volunteer, yeah, you're qualified. So just go for it. And also, I want to remind you, don't be scared to be rejected or fail. This is part of the progress. It is okay. There is always a learning opportunity. All what I'm asking is to just go for it. You don't need to give yourself a reason why you can't. You're ready. Remember, don't play small. Last thing, number 5, holding too high expectation. It is great to set your expectation high, but sometimes you are expecting yourself too much or more than what you can handle. Then what happens is you're disappointing yourself on the result or the performance that you got. Then what happens is you're going to start criticizing yourself way too much. It is always good to review your performance, right? What had happened. And I have shared it with you once in this podcast. But whenever these things happen, let's focus on what worked first. And then what are the things that you couldn't do well? Don't sit on this part too long, because you're going to have a million of things that you couldn't do well. And then come up with a solution. How to stop this? We tend to compare ourselves to others. Women especially compete with others and create some sort of catfight as well, which can sometimes cause some sort of competition. So it's very important that you are not doing that. You should see other women as a partner or as someone who can support for yourself. So it's very important. And then You have to remind yourself that you're in this game of you versus yourself. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. And if you are feeling a little, you're blaming way too much or feeling even stressed out because you're giving way too high expectation, just ask yourself, whose expectation is this? Is this my own expectation that I am trying to meet, or someone else told me that I have to be this high, whatever standard that is? All right, so let's recap 5 self-sabotaging behaviors. Number 1, you're telling yourself that you can't. Number 2, you're downplaying yourself. So you're adding, I'm only this, or I'm just this. Number 3, you're displaying yourself in a negative or uncertain ways, and sometimes you're apologizing way too much. Number 4, self-limiting yourself. Number 5, holding too high expectation. I want you to stop being your worst enemy and start being your own best friend. I know you can do it. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will catch you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today. Make sure to subscribe to Her Confidence, Her Way podcast and leave a review, which will help this podcast to be more visible so that other women can find this podcast easily. For free monthly newsletter, free private Her Confidence, Her Way community, and learn how you can get free weekly lesson to help you build your self-confidence, go to www.theemmystyle.com. Ladies, you don't need a permission from someone else to believe yourself. Just be you, because you are amazing. Let's support each other and keep on building your confidence.